Hit record and we'll get right after it. So thank you all for being here. I'm very excited to do another live event. I've gotten some really good feedback on the first few, and we were just talking about it beforehand too. If you missed any of the live insights, or you want to go back and you missed something in your notes, whatever, they're all uploaded to the Stronger Leaders, Stronger Profits YouTube channel. And I will continue to do that, within 48 hours or so, this one will be up, and we can, you can go back and check on that stuff. And then also I believe I put my notes, my talking notes, stuff like that in the description on YouTube as well. So if you want to kind of see my notes that I'm going off of, then that'll be up as well. So again, thanks for everybody for being here. For those of you who are in the Nashville area, don't forget, next Thursday, November 18th, is the big book tour kickoff. Very excited about that. That's at Operation Stand Down next Thursday, November 18th at 6 p.m. So hopefully you can make that. Let's look at very quickly the 6 keys here. Let me pull it up on a different screen and kind of talk how everything kind of goes in together. So, boom, there we are. All right. Can you guys all, can you see the 6 keys there?
Yep.
Yes. All right, perfect. All right, cool. So we started off with perspective and gratitude, the first key, right? And perspective and gratitude is sort of the fundamental, it is the foundation. We have to live with gratitude and perspective through a gratitude lens. And that gives us the fuel, the infinite fuel for greatness as we move forward. Okay. The second is internal locus control. That's harnessing our power, harnessing it to push forward and harness the gratitude-based fuel we have, so we can give it a direction. It's not just sort of flying out into the ether. And then we get our actual direction that we want to head toward by defining our North Star and defining our life's purpose. And we talked about that during our last live insights event. So that brings us to self-discipline, the fourth key to greatness. And this is execution. Okay. And then move on to perseverance and finally leadership at the end and the final event. And we'll talk about that as well. So that's where we're at. We're on the 4th step of execution. Now, if, as we go through this, right, it's important to remember why self-discipline is so important and so critical. And it comes down to economics, really. It comes down to supply and demand. It comes down to the infinite value of time, right? There's nothing more valuable than time. You can buy, sell, get money, lose money, any other resource you can name, right? Gold, whatever you want, diamonds, all that stuff can come and go, but we have no way to purchase back and get back time once it's lost. So knowing that our most valuable asset, resource that we have as a human being is time, it really amazes me how little energy we spend and focus we spend on maximizing our time and in maximizing our energy, right? So all too often we kind of just ping pong through life with a little to-do list. What do we feel like doing now? What's coming up, right? Without actually spending time to create habits. But at the end of the day, when our goal is greatness, our goal is achieving fulfillment and contentment with our life, having even a defined North Star of what we want to accomplish is not enough. We have to fulfill the equation. The full equation here is, on one side, you have transcendence, you have happiness, fulfillment, contentment, joy in life. And that equals, on the other side of the equation, a stated and defined purpose, and plus taking action to achieve purpose, right? Just taking action and doing things doesn't lead to fulfillment and contentment. And having a stated purpose and kind of knowing what we want to do, but if we're not actively taking action towards that, we don't have that sense of fulfillment, right? We've all gotten to the end of the day, the week, the month, even the year, and looked back kind of catching our breath, like, oh man, what did I even do? Like, am I any closer to my goals? Am I any closer to achieving transcendence? Have I developed as a human being in a meaningful way? Or did I just do stuff? And if we're just doing stuff, right? If we're just tackling the first thing that's on our to-do list every day, we're just, you'll find fulfillment, happiness, and your purpose, achieving your purpose only by luck. And we only have one life to live, so we can't leave that up to luck. So we need to be a doer, not a dreamer. Don't just be a collector of information, right? Sometimes I have to tell people, you need to read less, right? If you're reading a book, always read a book. How are you implementing anything you're learning? If you're listening to podcasts all the time, I've listened to this one. Okay, when are you stopping and actually changing habits and implementing all this knowledge you have, right? You're going to be the smartest guy in the room that's not making an impact on anyone, not achieving anything, and haven't actually increased in your actual capabilities, but you got all the answers in your head. So be selective about the information you choose to spend time on, and then ensure you're taking time and energy to process and implement the bits and pieces of that information that you want to create lasting and impactful habits. Because change doesn't come from ideas. Change doesn't happen from massive swings in your activity. Change comes from habit creation. You are what you habitually do. That's it. Your life is the culmination of the habits that you practice regularly. Look, you can go out and be like, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to get healthy and work out 7 days a week for a month straight. But if you stop because that's not sustainable for you, that's not a habit you can sustain on, then 2 months later, you're going to be in worse health than when you started. Right? Going out and having a few drinks on a Saturday with your friends, having a good time, it's okay. But if you're drinking 6 beers every night or a bottle of wine every night, it's going to negatively impact your health. Life is about consistency. So we want to create consistent habits. So how do we do that? We need to create one small habit change at a time. Then we do that as planned for 2 to 4 weeks. Then we can add another small habit. When you try to change too much, too fast, you're more likely to fail. And when you set up a pattern of failure, it becomes harder and harder to try again. Because you get yourself into this mindset of, what's the point? It's not going to work out anyway. So we have to find ways to set ourselves up for success when we set up habits. So there's a few things we can do. One is called habit stacking. So for example, let's say one of your goals is, I'm going to drink 16 ounces of water every morning when I get up. First thing, which is a great habit and one of the best things you can do for your health. And it's easy, but you always forget, right? We're busy in the morning. But maybe if you're like me and you've created a habit to where, I could sleepwalk, get up, and my mind could be a million other things. And I would just start the Keurig to make my coffee in the morning. Like, I'm making coffee in the morning. That's just going to happen. It's a habit I've done. So I can stack the habit and say, okay, now what I'm doing, as soon as I hit and start the coffee pot, I go over, I fill a full glass of water, and I finish that glass of water before I drink my coffee, right? That's an example of habit stacking. Okay. Maybe if you have a regular thing you do around lunch every day, just set it up where you go to the gym right before you do that thing you do every day, right? Or you could do that with reading or learning, anything like that. So find a habit you currently have, and stack another thing to it that you want to add. And it'll be easier to implement than if you're just trying to shoot it out of the blue, right? New habits that you create, you can't just put them in your head. They need to be on your calendar. They need to be on your to-do list. They need to set an alarm, set a reoccurring reminder, right? We have so many tools available to us with software and phones and everything else, or our smartwatches, right? That you want to utilize that ecosystem around you to give you reminders, right? This is like they used to, before we had phones and all this technology, people used to talk about putting rubber bands on their wrist or tying a string around their finger to remind them, oh, I got to remember to do that, right? But now we can do the same thing, but a much more efficient way. Because at the end of the day, self-discipline is about building trust with yourself and trust in yourself. Because the most important relationship in your life is with you, no one else. You're going to spend more time with yourself than you're going to spend with anybody else in your whole life, I promise you. So when we break promises to ourselves, we lose trust in ourselves, and we start to lose the ability and the willingness to implement change. And it's a slippery, slippery slope that can lead us to failing at the second key to greatness, an internal locus of control. It can lead us to start blaming the outside world for our failure to enact these new habits. We do that to protect our own ego. Because it's really hard to be like, you know what? I know I can do this and I'm just not doing it, and it's my fault. It's not the fact that, well, so-and-so wants me to do this and I got this, I have this requirement. Well, and I've got, my boss wants me to do this and I'm not in control, right? At the end of the day, we'll blame other things and we'll start to slip. Our internal locus of control will start to slip away if we don't set ourselves up for success with a proper way to create habits. But the reality is you are capable of immense change. You just need to do it in bite-sized chunks. So the first concept we're going to look at, first little life hack, right, is the Eisenhower matrix. I'm going to pull that up and share my screen again here, so you can see that. Boom. Okay, I'm going to go over this very quickly. This could easily, this is like a whole coaching session with my one-on-one clients, but maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't, right? This is the Eisenhower matrix. It was made popular, called the Urgent Important Matrix, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And on the 2 axes, you have importance and urgency. Okay, so importance is something that contributes to your goals, to your development. That means something's important. And the more it impacts your goals, your stated purpose, your North Star, your seasonal priorities, the more important it is. And the less it does, the less it is. Urgency is how soon is the consequence of not getting this thing done going to happen? So when we do that, we end up with 4 quadrants. You have quadrant 1, the urgent and important quadrant. Tasks should only end up with you having to do something in this quadrant as urgent and important for 2 reasons. 1, something unavoidable, right? Your car breaks down in the middle of the street. It's kind of urgent and important. You get that thing fixed, right? Your child gets hurt and has to go to the hospital, or there's some sort of client emergency that just came out of the blue. You couldn't anticipate. That could happen, and you have a quadrant 1 activity you just have to make time for, right? Now, the other way it happens is from procrastination, right? We have that big project. We have the important thing that we know is coming up, and we just keep putting off. Or we don't even organize our time correctly, so it just pops up on us, and then we have to do it in the time allotted. And this leads to us not enjoying the important work that we should be enjoying, the important activities that we should be enjoying, and the quality of work decreases because now we're constrained by time. Quadrant 2, this is where we want to live. You want to live 70% of everything you do in your life should be in quadrant 2. And that should be doing the things that are most important, things that are contributing to your development, to your happiness, to your contentment, to your goals, to your seasonal priorities. We want to live in quadrant 2. Quadrant 3, urgent, not important. These are things that usually we're helping other people achieve their goals, but it's not contributing to our own development or goals, right? This is at the expense of your own goals. So we want to delegate, automate, and schedule away as many of these things as possible, right? We get stuck in quadrant 3 when we're working and doing routine tasks that we could delegate to someone else or train someone else to do, right? We should be setting up our work ecosystem in a way, or even our personal ecosystem in a way that we are spending almost all of our time on the activities that only we can do. Right? So this could be at work, you delegating or hiring someone to do some other part of your job, right? It could be hiring someone to mow your lawn, right? It could be hiring someone to do, clean your house or do something else, right? That takes up time and energy and effort that you can do during more productive activities. You identify the critical tasks that only you can do and get rid of everything else. The other reason we end up in quadrant 3 is we're saying yes too often. It's okay to tell people no. And I'll tell you this, when you have your schedule under control, the way we're going to talk about it, it's way easier to say no. Because you can legitimately be like, sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. I don't have time for that. Right? And the last sort of life hack here is you don't have office hours. So everyone feels comfortable interrupting you. So people you work with, people that work for you, even clients, like set up regular time. Be like, I'm available from this time to this time to answer your questions. Or if it's not an emergency, put it in this Google Doc. I'll check it and get back to you by the end of the day. Or shoot me an email. I'll get back to you in 48 hours. Right? My phone, anyone who knows me knows that my phone doesn't even ring from people I know anymore because they know I'm not going to answer. Because then this becomes a ball and chain and you're a slave to when everyone else wants to get a hold of you. Guess what? My time is my time. It's no one else's. And your time is your time. It's no one else's. Don't let other people dictate how you spend your time. Right? Put your phone. Sorry, I'm gonna see if someone else is here. Put your phone away, put it on silent, and then check it every once in a while. Right? I have times I'll check it every once in a while. Just someone calls, someone check, but I'm not going to interrupt me when I'm trying to do work. Right? Set up office hours for yourself. And then finally, quadrant 4, not urgent, not important. Now, here's the thing. I'm not telling you should never do these things, right? These are distractions, right? They should only happen during planned leisure time. And yes, I said planned leisure time. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. Because what planned leisure time does is allows us to focus time and energy on actually being able to relax. Right? Because you're not watching TV and answering work emails and trying to hang out with your spouse and, oh, well, so this is going on. That's gone. That time's gone. This is time I'm spending just with my spouse, just with my relationships. I'm just chilling today. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not answering calls. I'm not doing anything, but you can do that and be in the moment and enjoy it because you've put it on your calendar. And so you know that everything else is taken care of. So now that we look at this, we know we want to live in quadrant 2. How do we actually schedule our time? Well, how do we actually work our calendar to make sure that we're existing in quadrant 2? So here are the 5 steps for taking control of your calendar. 1, write out your priorities for this season of life, 4 to 8 of them, making sure they're nested under your North Star, right? So whatever your life goal is, we've identified that in the previous step. We know what our purpose is. We know what impact we're trying to have. And we've backward planned, right? From the moment of death, when we evaluate our life, we've said, all right, well, where do I need to be 20 years before that? 20 years before that, 10, 5, 3. Okay, what do I need to do right now? And how does this all nested beneath my ultimate goal? Write those things out. We haven't looked at our calendar yet. Just write them out. Now, second thing, put those priorities down, okay? And then pull out your weekly calendar. And when you look at your calendar, you want to block off time and account for the things that are most important to you. So if time with your significant other is important to you, block it out. Time with your kids is important, block it out. Time for working out is important to you, work it out. Time to work on your business, boom. Time for projects, boom. Time to volunteer, whatever that is, right? Time to do your work. Put that down. Okay. Now, when we do that, we could start with our hard times, right? The times we don't control. Like if you have certain times like, hey, I have to be on my computer working from 9 to 12 and 1 to 5. Okay, block that out. That's not your time to, it's not up to you when you spend that time. Maybe it is. Maybe you have to go pick up the kids at a certain time, right? Maybe you have with jujitsu, I've got classes to teach. I teach those classes. I put those in. Those are hard times. And then we fill our blocks of time around it. We make sure if we ever look at actual tasks that we have our time allotted towards our ultimate purpose, toward our seasonal priorities. Now we review our schedule, make sure they're aligned. Okay. Yep. Everything's accounted for. Everything that's important to me, I've put out time to do in my regular calendar, my regular schedule. Then we can start filling in to-do list tasks, right? So there's different ways you can do this. You can use a notebook, you can use your calendar. Some people use Outlook, some use Teams, whatever that is. But I'll tell you what I've gone to just very recently that has simplified my life is basically two tools, two pieces of software I use that covers 90% of me managing my time and effort. My Google Calendar and Todoist. Todoist is software you can get really cheap. I think they're the free version, and it's basically a digital to-do list that you can manipulate, add times, put stuff down. You can have the app on your phone. So now you have something. And when you do that, you can also, if you have a team, you can start handing tasks to other people. So you can use it as a team management software, sort of like Slack, but you can put all your to-do list stuff here, schedule it out. And then I can use my calendar. So then when it comes down and say, I've got a work block to work on this business. Okay. What tasks do I have for that business? Boom. I'm going to do those. I've got a block of time for creative work. Okay. What creative stuff do I need to be working on? So between those two items, you can really manage your time very well. And I'll show you what that looks like real quick, right? I might as well be completely open and show you how I do that. Oh, the screen share is still up. Cool. Perfect. So just as not perfect example, this is an example of my calendar. A lot of tabs open up. All right, boom. So this is my calendar, right? This is the actual calendar. Look, I'm here. Boom. Elizabeth's on this call right here. I've got a meeting with her at 2 p.m. Okay. So I've got this time. It's color coded, right? And I've got blocks of time. Notice it's pretty full, right? One thing I also do is on Fridays, I try to leave some time in Friday afternoon. And usually I try to leave some time on Monday afternoon free, right? Create some white space so that as things do pop up, you can shift things around without completely screwing up your calendar. But the further out you go, the less you see, right? Now I use certain tools and schedules in here. So like every morning, I never, except for this podcast I have to do tomorrow morning, it was the only time, I never schedule meetings in the morning. I use the morning time from like 9 to 12. That's all me time. That's creative time. That's time to do deep thinking, stuff like that. But then you can add that to this Todoist and look at this. So now you've got tasks overdue, tomorrow stuff coming up. You can say what's Stronger Leader Society tasks, what's Legion tasks, what's book tour tasks, what's Stronger Profits, what's personal tasks, right? And so this is Todoist, and you can go in and create your to-do list and manage it digitally. So those two tools are how just those two things. Then you just have little notes and whiteboards and stuff that cover the rest of it. But that really puts you in control of your own calendar. So finally, association mastery. We'll cover this and I'll take questions. So association mastery, our minds are masters of association and patterns. It's literally how we've survived as human beings, is recognizing patterns. This leaf looks like that, I can eat it. This leaf looks like that, don't eat it. This animal looks like this, you can eat it and kill it. Watch out for this animal, it'll bite you, right? This one's poison. It's how we survived as people, okay? So use that to your advantage. So set your environment up for success. So there's a lot of ways we can do that, right? Have a certain place you go to work out. Have a certain place you go to do work, right? I work in my office here. Okay. I don't take my computer anywhere else in the room or other places and work, right? Maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you're like, I don't have a good place to work in my house, so I need to go somewhere else. So now find the coffee shop or the place or the corner that you like and just go there, but go to that same place over and over again, because your mind will start associating, I'm going to sit down, focus, and work at this environment, in this environment. I don't sit on my couch during the day. I've been working at home now. I've been working at home now for 6 years, and actually a little before that. So when everyone went remote and they started freaking out, like, I can't handle, I don't know, I'm not getting anything done. I don't feel like I have a break between work and whatever. That was just normal. So like the quarantine life was pretty much my life. I didn't even know it was anything to change that much, right? So I've systematically developed these operations to maximize my time and energy. So I don't turn on my TV during the day. I don't sit on my couch during the day. Because here's the beautiful part. When I do sit on my couch, and I do turn on my TV at night when we're getting ready for bed or whatever, chilling, I'm in 100% chill mode. You know, when you get those racing thoughts, well, I forgot about this at work and this at work. When you master your calendar and you master your time and you know everything's accounted for and you have this association mastery, it puts you in charge of your thoughts. It puts you in charge of how you spend your time and energy. And it allows you to focus in a world that's filled with distraction. So create those associations and those patterns and habits in your life, and your body will operate more efficiently and more effectively. So let's go over the life hacks, right? The overview we covered today, right? In this short time, I try to keep these to half hour for you guys. Number one, habit creation best practices, small habits. Okay. You can't go in and be like, I'm going to increase my bench press by 5 pounds every week I go in. That's not going to work. You increase it, right, by 10 pounds. And then instead of doing 12 reps, now you're doing 6, and you stick with the same weight until you're doing 12 reps again. Then you add more weight. You have to give yourself and your body time to adapt physically and mentally to new habits. So use best creation practices, small habits, and stack them. Make sure that you set up reminders and you set up your environment for success, right? With reoccurring reminders in your calendar, alarms, to help force you into the habit. And then eventually you won't have to use those tools anymore. The second is the Eisenhower matrix. We want to live in quadrant 2 activities. I have my clients write this down. Every activity I do through the day, right? If they're really struggling with this, I have them write what quadrant is it in. Right? Start creating that muscle in your brain to be like, I procrastinated. That's why I'm having to do this right now. That's why I'm having to be rushed on something important right now. You know what? I'm doing 5 things today that don't have anything to do with me accomplishing my goals. How do I get rid of them? How do I automate them? How do I delegate them? How do I say no? Eisenhower matrix, live in quadrant 2. 3 was the 5 steps for successfully taking charge of your calendar. Write out your priorities for the season of life. Create your weekly block schedule, review the schedule, fill in daily tasks as necessary. And then the fifth step on that taking control of your calendar, stick to your schedule and adjust as necessary, refine processes. So that's the 4th one, taking charge of your calendar. And then the 4th one is association mastery, right? Making sure that you're setting up your environment and activities in a way that will allow you to associate this smell, environment, everything that is around you is going to be focused on helping you achieve what you're trying to achieve. The best tool you can get if you have to work anywhere from home, these things, noise canceling headphones. Put on some noise canceling headphones. I don't hear what's going on out there. I focus. When I put these things, I'll put these things on and not even put music on sometimes. Just because when I put them on, my mind goes to work now, because if I don't have these on, I'm usually not working. So in conclusion, give yourself grace on all these things, okay? We all fall short. We all fall off the wagon and slip up on our quality habits from time to time. I know it happens to me all the time. This is natural. It's okay. Okay. Just don't use that as an excuse to not get back up. Just because you let your diet go out the window for a weekend or on vacation doesn't mean that it's all for naught and you can't go back to it. Just because you missed that one workout, just because you forgot to put something on your calendar and you missed a meeting doesn't mean everything's useless. It's just an opportunity to adjust and learn. Okay. Nothing in this world is perfect. Not a single thing in this world is perfect. So stop trying to set perfection as a standard for yourself. And on a side note, stop trying to expect that of your work, of your relationships, of other people. We're all flawed. We're all just doing our best. So the name of the game for the humble warrior, for harnessing your and maximizing your effectiveness with a warrior's mindset is progress, not perfection. This is the beautiful struggle of life. It's falling down and getting back up. It's that process and getting stronger throughout it, not in setting an impossible standard and then beating ourselves up when we don't meet it, or setting an impossible standard for someone else and beating them up if they don't meet it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If any of you have any questions about working with me as individuals or your organizations, please just let me know. Shoot me an email, send me a message. And does anyone have any questions for me on anything we covered today or anything that came up? Anything? No? All right. Oh, we got Mike coming up. Mike, got a question? Oh, it's awesome. All right, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. I'll post this to my YouTube channel and we'll be back next Tuesday and we will be going over perseverance. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday. We'll talk later. Bye.